Okay, well, welcome everyone. Welcome to our fifth grade families. Welcome to the kids who are out there who are looking forward to being sixth graders next year. My name is James Barnes. I'm the principal of Cunha. There's a whole lot of panelists that you'll be meeting tonight who are various staff and teachers at Cunha. So we want to introduce ourselves and we will tell you all about our program. The amazing things we've got going on at Cunha. It's a whole new world, different from elementary school. And you know, it opens up a whole bunch of different things, so many more teachers and so many possibilities. Isabel, would you translate what I've had to say and then we'll move on? Okay.
Yo voy a hablar para ella porque ella está en el otro lado en español y no puede cambiar. Entonces estamos aquí para decir bienvenidos a todos y hay muchos panelistas aquí para conocerles y introducir a ustedes a nuestra escuela. Nuestra Isabel va a trabajar como traductora, pero vamos a explicar en un ratito cómo hacerlo. Pero primero empezamos y bienvenidos a todos.
So I said my name is James Barnes. I also want to introduce my vice principal, assistant principal, Mr. Bartell.
How you doing, everybody?
So Mr. Bartell and I work very closely together to run the school, to handle things like discipline and work with athletics and all kinds of different things to make our Cunha experience wonderful for everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
And I'd also now like to introduce one of our partners who works with us very closely to make things happen at Cunha, and that is our parent-teacher organization, our PTO. So I think Lisa Zanetti is going to speak now, our president of the PTO.
Hi, welcome everybody. My name is Lisa Zanetti. I have two kids, an 8th grader at Cunha this year, and I have a 12th grader, or I'm sorry, a 10th grader over at the high school. I know it's been a tough year for everybody, but I'm super looking forward to all of you coming to Cunha next year. If you don't have an older sibling or a child at Cunha yet, you are going to really, really, really be excited and enjoy your experience there. The 6th grade staff is absolutely amazing. They are going to be so great with all of you. You get to learn all about leadership and so many good activities. The counselors are absolutely amazing. Try and connect with them as much as you can for anything that you might need. What we do at Cunha is a little different as a PTO than what you guys are used to at the elementary school. We get to basically just support all of the different activities that we do at Cunha and offer our input, any assistance they need, and a little financial help. We do everything to support teachers, counselors, and the staff and all of their extra endeavors. We love to recognize the students as much as possible in everything that they love doing, with academic awards and other achievement awards that they can do around the school, any enrichment, supporting the new STEM activities that they're doing through science, those types of things. So I also want to recognize that we have a multicultural school here, and I have Martha Schwartz, who's our Spanish-speaking representative, who just wants to talk to you a little bit in the native Spanish tongue.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Marta y como dice Lisa, ella es la representante del PTO de Cunha. Este año tenemos también representantes en español. Y queremos decirle que todos están bienvenidos. Cunha PTO es completamente diferente como se hacen en las escuelas elementarias. También con las recaudaciones y todos solo hacemos una donación voluntaria anual una vez al año. Y con esto nosotros ayudamos a pagar, a ayudarle a comprar materiales para profesores, estudiantes y que le queremos garantizar que los niños cuando vienen en Cunha, ellos van a pasar un tiempo muy alegre haciendo deportes, electivos, actividades de muchos ellos quieren. Gracias.
Mr. Barnes, can I jump in and let families know how to choose interpretation?
I was just going to hope someone could do that. Thank you.
Okay, muy buenas para ustedes que necesitan o desean la interpretación en español. Tenemos Isabel para ustedes para hacerla. Lo que usted necesita hacer es abajo de su pantalla hay un globo o parece como un globo y eso es para la interpretación. Necesita seleccionar interpretación. Por favor, selecciona español y después, por favor, haga clic en seleccionar el sonido original. Con esto, usted puede oír el resto de la presentación en español. Ok, gracias a todos.
Okay, thank you, Erin. So now I'd like to introduce our counselors. So our counselors are Ms. Myrick, Ms. Wilhelms, and Ms. Lee. So
hello. Thank you, Mr. Barnes. I just wanted to introduce our team, and we are a counseling team. There's 3 of us, but students with the last names A through L work with myself and Ms. Wilhelms, and then students whose last name starts with the letters M through Z work with Ms. Lee. So we are here as a team to support you. We work very closely together, but those are the breakdown of how we split up the student caseload. So we just wanted to give you a brief introduction on who we are and what we do. We understand that this is the first time that many of our students and families have worked with counselors. So we just wanted to let you know that we are here to support your students personally, socially, and academically. We know that there's been a lot of change and a lot going on this year. So when your student transitions next year, please make sure they know that we are here to support them. We are here to help them. We are here to guide them. We are here to provide support and services and whatever they may need. We understand that there's going to be a lot of personal and social and academic transition. And we just want to remind you all that we are here, and that is our job, to support each and every one of our students and their needs. So please make sure you reach out to us next year if your students need any support. And we look forward to meeting them, hopefully in person. So we are the counseling team.
Thank you very much, Stacy. I also want to introduce our dean, who I think who's already spoken to you, Ms. O'Connor Brown.
Good evening, everyone. Muy buenas noches. I am Mrs. O'Connor Brown, Erin O'Connor Brown, and I am the academic dean at Cunha. I work closely with the counselors to support your students and you as families. A couple things that I do: I work closely to help our English language learner students set goals and work toward reclassification. I help those students with navigating the process. I meet with families. I also help students academically with setting goals for academic success and charting how to stay on track with their academic work. And I cannot wait to meet many of you families next year. So I look forward to working with you.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't put your second slide up very fast there. Let me go on to talk a little bit about success at Cunha. So it's very different from elementary school. You have multiple teachers. You'll be taking 7 periods a day of different classes, different subjects. So being organized is super, super important. So remembering what you have to do for your social studies class, or remembering what you have to do for your science class, and making sure you're checking for your homework. And we use Google Classroom, which you might be familiar with from elementary school, but we also use School Loop, which is a whole nother way of checking your grades, checking your progress, making sure you know your homework, being able to submit things. So we have a lot of ways in which you can make sure both you and your parents, students and parents, can stay organized and on top of all the different things you have going at the same time. The other thing that's important about success at Cunha is not just staying on top of academics that way, but getting involved. Cunha is a lot of fun. There is stuff going on all the time. We have so many fun activities, spirit activities, competitions, games, Friday activities, athletics, so many different things. If you get involved with interesting clubs, whether you get involved in different sorts of electives, if you're involved in sports, if you're doing stuff, if you're participating in the games and activities, you're going to meet friends, you're going to have a great time, and you're going to be part of the life of the school. You're going to get to know your teachers, and everything is going to go that much better. So being involved gets you part of the school and really increases your success as a student. That's super important, parents and students, to be involved and be connected. Make sure you're talking to people. Make sure that you're talking to your teachers. So much can be fixed, or problems can be solved, or just understanding between all the different people here. If you're connected, if you're talking, if you're paying attention, if you're listening to each other. So the connection, the involvement, organization, all those things will make you a successful middle school student. And now I'd like to talk a little, well, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to have Mr. Lugo come and talk about our athletic program, one of the things that you should absolutely be involved in when you come to Cunha.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Again, good evening, everyone. I'm Tim Lugo. I am the athletic director at Cunha Intermediate. I've been the athletic director for over 10 years now. And just a little background, I do have an 8th grader currently at Cunha. Great experience for her. And I have a 4th grader that's currently at Fairlawn View. So I'll be expecting another one here in a couple of years. But just to follow up what Mr. Barnes was saying about getting involved, athletics here at Cunha is a wonderful way to get involved. And again, speaking in, I guess, a quote unquote normal year, I know this year has been very difficult, and not having athletics around has certainly been a strain on our youth. But I fully intend, and with the help with our new partner, the Boys and Girls Club, we certainly intend to resume our athletic program, to what it was before COVID-19. But just a little bit what we offer. We offer 3 seasons of sports. It's listed there, from volleyball to wrestling and flag football, basketball, both genders, multiple skill levels. And we have fun with it. We remain competitive, and it's a great outlet. And I encourage all students to give it a try, to come try Cunha Athletics, because there is something for everyone. And it's a great way to release after an academic day. And of course, it's also a great way to stay fit and make friends. So it's a great experience, just as previous athletes that's been through here. So that's a little bit about athletics.
Thank you, Mr. Lugo. I also want to talk a little bit about other academic stuff. Grades, now different from elementary school, where you get progress reports that talk about whether you're meeting standards or not. You're now in a part of school, secondary school, middle school, and high school, where there are traditional grades, A, B, C, D, F. I mean, of course, we don't want to see any Fs, and we will do everything we can to avoid that. But it's important for students to know that, there are different grades for your progress. So parents, students, make sure that you're keeping up with your classwork, that those homework assignments and different things, they all add up towards your grade. Understanding that, making sure you're studying for tests and other assignments, making sure you do all of them, because that's what's going to make your grades look good. And that opens up doors, makes it possible for you to maybe look at advanced classes in the high school and things like that. So keeping up with your grades is super important. So as I mentioned before, we have things like School Loop and Google Classroom, and that's a way for parents and students to follow the progress of your student, to make sure it shows you what work they've done and what work they haven't done, to make sure you're on it with them and it, working together with your student and with all their teachers to keep up. So that's super important. We'll send, besides the electronics, we will be sending home paper progress reports. We do that in the middle of the quarter. And then of course we send report card grades at the end of the quarter. So you should get a paper report card 8 times a year, right? But that's only 8 times a year. Making sure that you're able to check in more often, School Loop, or send an email if you don't know what's going on or you're having trouble figuring it out. I'm always willing to answer. Your teachers will respond right away. We are really interested in supporting your student. The counselors are there to help out. So anything, you stay connected with us and we can really help you help students and parents work on their student success. So School Loop is super important. I think many of you have also signed up for the parent portal. That will be available next year. And so you'll be able to follow attendance on that as well and see the quarter grades and so on. But School Loop gives you that day-by-day progress, and that's super, super important. Okay, I'll send this back to the counselors.
All right, thank you. So we're just going to give you a quick snapshot of the potential schedules. There's a lot of different situations and scenarios where each kid has their unique schedule, but we just wanted to give you a brief overload of what the typical schedule of most of our students will look like next year, just so you have a basic understanding. So at Cunha, currently we have 7 classes. Every student will take those 7 classes, and 6 of those classes are pre-assigned standard classes. There's a little bit of variance in there, but for the most part, they're the typical 6 standard classes, which are language arts and reading, or Spanish language arts and English language arts if you're in the immersion program. Then we have math, science, PE, social studies. And so those are going to be the 6 core classes that every student is going to participate in. Like I said, it might be a little very different depending on if you're in the immersion program or not, or if you have a 0 period PE, which we'll briefly discuss now, but also discuss in detail later. So those are the 6 classes that your student will have. And then the 7th class is an elective class, and that class is what we will need your feedback on as what they would like to participate in next year. So the 3 electives that are offered, and I'm just going to briefly explain them, and then I'll give an opportunity to some of the teachers who teach in those programs to share a little bit of information about themselves too. So the 3 options for 6th grade is Wheel, Avid, and Band. Wheel is the option of 4 different classes that rotate each quarter. And so students are placed into one of the 4. They get an opportunity to participate in all of the wheel rotations. And it's just a little taste of the electives we have to offer. Avid is a year-long class. And I'll let Mr. Lugo give a little bit more information about that in a second. And then Band is a year-long class as well. So your student has the opportunity to select one of those 3 elective options for their 7th class for the school year next year. Mr. Lugo, do you want to start on giving a little bit more information on Avid? Is there a slide? No, okay. So Mr. Lugo can give some information.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm back. In addition to being your athletic director, I teach social studies, but also I'm heavily involved in the AVID program. Or AVID's actually a national program. Classes offered at the middle school, high school, and actually extending into the elementary school levels. AVID is an acronym that stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And the goal for this year-long class is just to help students build the general academic skills that they can use in their entire classroom settings. I'll give you some example. You know, we work heavily with organizing. Organizing is a big part of being successful for everyone, students, parents, everyone. So we focus on organization, cooperation, teamwork, team building. We do a little bit of a discussion, how to work on their public speaking, how to properly have a discussion without arguing. We work on goals, you know, setting personal goals, setting short-term goals, looking more long-term as well. We do things called tutorials where we really help each other with problems we're having in certain classes. We help solve problems. We use each other to help with that. And then, you know, the overall focus as you get to high school is to, you know, prepare for any collegiate setting, community college, you know, four-year colleges. And what I do at the junior high level is just kind of have a conversation, start the conversation, what to expect, you know, in your later grades and of course, beyond into college. It's really fun. Again, on normal years, we would go on field trips to colleges to kind of see what it's like. I know this year we're not able to, but we certainly have we certainly have some great experiences in our AVID class.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lugo. And I think Ms. Portello-Swagel is going to tell us a little bit about the band program.
Hello, welcome. My name is Miss Portello-Swagel, AKA Miss PS, and I'm the band director at Cunha. Thank you for letting me tell you about our program. We meet as a regular class, as you heard, during the school day. It's your student selective. It is year long. And not only do I hope that it's 1 year, but I hope we have 3 years together at Cunha and then on to the fabulous high school, Half Moon Bay High School music program. So it's I hope a longevity experience with them. Your student will learn to play an instrument. They might learn to play flute or clarinet. I think they're on the screen. Clarinet or trumpet or trombones behind me, saxophone, baritone, tuba, drums, xylophone. There's a lot of choices. We will give students, thanks to the help of our band boosters, we'll give any family who requests a student, requests an instrument, we'll give you one for free. So it doesn't have to cost anything. What else did I want to say? We perform a lot for each other. We perform for our families, of course. We perform for our community. We'll start the year off with a bang with the Pumpkin Festival Parade. Mostly I like to show off students. I like them to feel proud. As a parent, especially this year, I want my own kids to be off the screens, having their brains think in a different way. Just a nice part of your school day. So I would love to have them join us. I hope to have them experience the same joy that being a musician has brought me. So thank you, and I hope to meet your students next year.
And then James, we just wanted to also give drama a second to talk about one of the rotations on the 6th grade wheel. Every year it kind of changes a little bit, but drama has been a staple in our elective 6th and 7th grade program. So we just wanted to give an opportunity to share a little bit about that program and that as well. So
absolutely.
Sorry. Hi, thank you. My name's Diane Angst. I'm the drama teacher at Cunha. And for 6th grade drama, I have to say it is probably the best use of 6th grade energy in the whole school day. We work on creativity. We work on working together towards a performance. And when we're in school, we actually perform for the other elective classes. And to see the progression from the kids at the beginning of the quarter to the end is amazing, that they just open up and blossom and just learn how to work with each other and start feeling comfortable standing up in front of each other and performing. And it's really a great pleasure to work with them.
Thanks, Ms. Angst. That's great. I'm glad you came to talk about that. Okay. You're up next to talk about ELD. So here you are.
Okay. So I am also a language arts teacher, and I also teach ELD. This year, I am teaching the 6th grade ELD class, which is for students who are English language learners. And for them, we provide support. And for all students in all grades, we provide support for students as they're working through school projects. The big projects for 6th grade, it would be the TOOM project. And then we also, our big focus though is to prep our students for the LPAC, which is one of the tests that's used for reclassification so that they don't have to take my ELD class anymore. Other than that, we really try to reinforce academic language and just academic intelligence for students. And a lot of times that we have that support for them. Okay.
Thank you. All right. I think now we want to talk about the Spanish immersion program as it is here at Cunha.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am Mr. Robles, and I am one of the Spanish immersion teachers here at Cunha. So our program is cyclical in nature. You'll notice when the ELA department gets the chance to share that most students at Cunha have a reading class and a language arts class. Within the immersion program, we divide that between a Spanish class and an English class. So what happens is every year we go over 3 major writing assignments. Those assignments are creating an argumentative essay, a research paper, and a narrative. Now, whether students will create those works in English or Spanish changes by year. Further, every year we also make sure to go over the same 7 tenses and dig deeper every year. Those tenses deal with the past, present, future, giving commands, and of course, within the past, there's about 2 tenses we deal with. In the present, there's about 3 tenses we deal with, and of course, giving commands. Besides that, along with the research paper, every year students will give practice presenting in Spanish, and every year the expectation for how long students will present will increase. And the reason for that is because by the end of the 8th grade, students are expected to present in Spanish for 5 minutes if they hope to achieve the seal of biliteracy. Speaking about the seal of biliteracy, students can achieve the seal of biliteracy by speaking in Spanish by presenting for 5 minutes in Spanish by the end of 8th grade, by creating a bilingual work, a bilingual essay, which again, they will have practice on doing all throughout their 3 years at Cunha, and by maintaining a B average. Besides that, we are sure to include at least 1 novel that the English department in general includes with all of their students. But overall, we read 4 our hope is to read 4 novels yearly, 2 novels in English and 2 novels in Spanish. And we look forward to working with your students next year. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Mr. Robles. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about, oops, I guess I missed it. All right. Yes, there we go. 0 period. One of the options that you can have at Cunha is to take 0 period. And I think it was touched on a little bit earlier. So you have the ability to take 1 elective, most students. However, sometimes there are classes that you have to take, they're going to take up that time. It could be that you are going to take an ELD class or something like that, or perhaps some kind of intervention class. Or maybe you want to take band, but you also want to be in leadership in 8th grade, or take some of the wheel classes or some of the other electives. So this gives you an opportunity. So during 0 period, which starts, I think, at about 7:49 in the morning, just a little bit earlier than our 8:30 school normal start time, you would be able to take a PE class. And that way, that would free up your schedule later in the day and allow you to take the elective that you want to take, maybe the 2 electives or the elective and whatever special program that you're doing. So just be aware that's a choice for students that, I mean, it makes for 8 periods a day that you're going to be taking, but it does give you that extra choice to either take 2 electives or elective in a special program. So just be aware of that. It does start a little bit earlier, but we usually have 2 or 3, I think 2 PE periods open. Of course, that depends on how many people sign up for it. So 0 period gets you that extra elective time. All right. So then I'm going to turn it back over to the counselors to talk about registering for classes for next year.
Okay, so that now that you've heard about all of the choices that you have for electives next year, we want to let you know how to actually sign up for them. So we are doing a Google form rather than the paper form that we normally do. In order to access the Google form, we'll share the link with you in tonight's presentation, and we'll also be posting it on our school website, on the Cunha website, and sharing it with all the 5th grade teachers. So you have a point of contact for your students to go to if you need some help with that this year. But I want to let you know that in order to access and fill out this form, you do have to be logged in to the student's Google account. And this is because we don't want other people signing up on behalf of your students or multiple signups. So we are trying to make it a little bit more secure by having students sign in to their Google account in order to access this form. Also, another note, once you submit the form with your student, it cannot be edited after the fact. So it's similar to, imagine if you have a paper form and you've turned it into the office, you can't get it back to make any changes. So please be sure we're giving you guys lots of time. And if you need more time or have any questions, feel free to talk to us. But once you submit, we really do want that to be the final answer, because from that point on, we start putting together schedules. So on the next slide, you'll see this is the link here. And if you aren't able to write it down right now, that's okay. This presentation, as well as the direct link to the Google form, will be posted onto our Cunha website. But if you could just click on that, Mr. Barnes. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Great. So this is for what your form will look like. It's very basic information, but there is a section where it will ask for your first choice of elective. And then you'll have a drop-down menu and pick one of the 3 options. And then it will ask you, what is your second choice? And that's just because some classes do fill up. We have limited space in certain classes. And at that point, we may have to go to a second choice. So we want to get your preference just in case we do have to do that. After you fill out this section, if you hit next, it'll take you to the question about the 0 period option, and it'll give you a brief explanation again in case you can't remember what we discussed tonight. And basically, it's just that if your student is taking, for example, an ELD class or a learning center or some other sort of required class, and your student also wants to take an elective class, and your student is willing to come to school earlier, then you can choose yes to the 0 period question. If not, then at some point, we hope that your student will be able to participate in electives, but maybe 6th grade is not the year that you want to start that. So that's going to be just a family discussion, but please let us know your preference so that we can try our best to accommodate all of your requests. And that's basically it for the form. Again, we'll be posting all of this information along with an instruction sheet and also ways to contact us. So that way, if you have any questions, please let us know.
I think possibly it can go on the Q&A as well if somebody wanted to try to post that on there. I'm not sure if that'll work. Okay. Let's see. So where was I? All right. So so at this point, I have a few videos to show everybody here. Hopefully everybody who has questions can put them in the Q&A. You can ask questions. I know Mr. Bartel, Ms. O'Connor Brown are answering questions there as they come up. We'll have a Q&A after everything's done too, where if you type things in the chat, I'll try to answer them live, or any of our counselors will answer them live. But we'll show some videos, and then we're gonna to see all the different departments and meet the teachers from those. So let's see if I can do this correctly. So I'm going to try to show a campus tour. So give me a second here. That. And here is a virtual tour. All right, let's see if I've got this right.
Hey Future Cubs, it's Sophia, and this is the Cunha Intermediate School virtual tour.
Hi Cubs, this is the office. Now let's take a look inside. And here for Social Distance Matters for COVID, this is where people come and they can say like who they need to talk to or what they need. Over here sits Miss India. She does the attendance. And right over here is Miss Isabel. And over here is Miss Trish. Now back here is Mr. Barnes' office, our principal. Back here is Miss Bauer. Now here we have the nurse's office, and people can sit here when they're waiting to talk to Mr. Bartel, our vice principal. This is Mr. Bartel's office, and this is one of the 2 conference rooms right here. And then back here is the counselor's office. That's Miss Lee's room, and this is Miss Myrick's room.
This is the quad area where you can see we have this beautiful stage to do activities and Friday music. And what we're going to walk you through right now is we're going to go see if there's any teachers around. Follow me. So this is the E building over here. You have the C building up here. All right. And then, of course, the lovely students over here. We have a fine group of students over here who have come. They've walked 20 miles to get here to show everyone the school. So they're going to show you. Everyone wave. No, not the picture. Wave to Mr. Olson. You guys don't miss it. All right, this is the C building. Over here is the art room. Beautiful art room. Up there are all the English teachers. We're going to take you up there later. Some of these fine 8th grade students are going to take them up there. In this room. Wait, there's someone here. We found a live person. Oh, that's Mr. Murray. Say hello, Mr. Murray. And then we're going to Mr. Millhouse. Say hello to the 5th graders, Mr. Murray.
Hello, 5th graders.
All right, now we're going to keep walking as we go with science. Beautiful science room. We're going to see if there's anyone in this room. Wait, there is.
Hello, come on in, welcome.
Everyone say hello to Mr. Millhouse.
Hello, real children. I have not seen you in so long. This is for the incoming 5th graders, so welcome. This is kind of what maybe one of your science classrooms will look like. We might have some fun things hanging from the walls. In 6th grade, we're mainly going to go into earth science. So a couple things that we might explore is we might be exploring things like some of the different minerals, rocks, gems that make up our world. Right now, we're just getting through the atmosphere with my 6th graders. So we might look at the different types of gases that make up Earth versus Venus and why Venus is warmer than Earth. We might take a look at atmospheric pressure around us. So we might look at why this balloon stays filled up, but if we take out the little plug at the bottom, it goes back down. So we might explore things in our atmosphere that cause that. I hope to meet all of you and have us back in school and hopefully explore some of those things together.
This is the music room. They write music notes on the board, and the music instruments are stored right over there.
Hey Cubs, we are on the 2nd floor of the C building right now, and this is where all the English teachers' classes are. And over here this is Submerge. She's an 8th grade teacher, and the next classroom over, C204, is Mr. Hartman, and he is a 7th grade language arts teacher.
Here we have the basketball courts, and as you can see, there's people in them playing. And over here we have the soccer field for lunch activities going on during lunch.
Welcome to the famous gym of Cunha. This is where we're going to have our spirit assembly to start the year. And this is where we have a lot of Greek dodgeball and we win championships. If you look up here at the rafters, you can see all of the championships that Cunha had, including last year's 8th graders. You can see they are going to be added because they won just before we left for the pandemic. This is where we have our dances. You will see over 500 people in the gym all dancing together doing YMCA. And then we're going to take you to the D Hall where you can see classrooms and also during the dance where we have photos, music, movies, and everything else for the dances.
Hey Future Cubs! We're in the deep wing right now, and over here is Miss Wolf's classroom. She teaches 6th grade math, study skills.
And over here we have the home ec room. This is taught by Miss Longacre.
Hey Future Cubs, this is the shop room, and you guys will be in here for your elective. And this is where like many people make really cool projects.
We'd like to show you that this is quiet and empty, but we want you to know by next October, when we have a dance, there will be 600 students in here. We have movies going on in one room. We will have games going on in another room. And in there will be 500 students dancing. So we are looking forward to it.
See you next year, Future Cubs!
All right. Now the next video I have.
Amanda Goldman. Welcome to the Daily Social Distancing Show.
Wait a minute.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Well, that's great, but that's not what we're here to see. Our next video is a quick Q&A with students, and I will put that on right now.
Yes, we do have enough time, but it's really crowded when you walk around.
Some people eat outside in the benches and some in the cafeteria in the MU.
You can get them more strict about everything. You can't be messing around, or else they're gonna give you class detention. They gave me class detention. Now I failed that class. You want to end up like me.
My favorite class is reading and literature with Miss Higaki because she explains these subjects very well and we try new things every quarter.
The best thing about Cunha is that you get to meet new people from other schools. You just don't have to see the same faces from your own school.
So our first teacher up to talk about English language arts and reading is Miss Higaki.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Higaki, and I teach 6th grade English language arts and reading. I will have your students for 2 class periods, usually back to back, so they will be with me for a 2-period block. And our main focus, we do a lot of stuff in our class, but I think the highlights are we will read 2 novels together and do an in-depth novel study, focusing on various skills that we have been learning throughout the year. And then students are asked to do independent reading, which is where they'll read on their own from their own book. And that is typically, the purpose of that is to practice independently with what we've been learning in class. Another important thing that we do focus on in our language arts class is preparing to write essays Our biggest essay that we write is an argumentative essay, which is actually something we're working on right now in our Zoom class. And our focus is including textual evidence. So those are probably the biggest things that we do all year. And if you have questions, you can always ask. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Igaki. Okay, so then next we should have Ms. Wolk talking about math.
I don't know, you guys. I'm watching all these videos and hearing these teachers, and I want to go to Cunha. Oh, my kids did go here. It was a great experience, and they also went to our high school. Cunha prepares them for the high school. We have fun, and the kids enjoy their subjects, including math. I did want to address the COVID learning gap and tell you not to worry. That's going to be our job, and we're going to figure out how we can help our students see what they've missed. We're all in the same situation, and we're going to move forward together. I love sixth grade. I teach sixth grade math, and I've done it for years. And a typical day, we would have a warm-up or a review. We'd correct homework and then start our activity. You did get to see briefly my classroom in the tour. We are in groups. Kids discover and explore math topics. They talk about it, and we know that the more they talk and explore, the deeper connections they make with it. Math is fun. I will give them a toolkit, which is soft covered, and they will take their notes, class notes in here. And it also gives some traditional explanations that parents really like so that they can help their student. And then we do homework in a notebook that you provide. And this one's mine. I also tutor at lunch once a week to help the kids and just to address the parents that may be concerned, will their students be challenged? Our curriculum asks you to explore more than one solution, to explain it. If you can truly explain it to another person, that shows that you really do understand it. And if you're concerned that your student maybe needs a little more support, our curriculum spirals. So maybe they don't understand it the first time, it'll come back, and it gets more and more challenging, and that allows them to show later on that they do understand the material. I can't wait to get back into the classroom and meet your kids. We're gonna have a wonderful, wonderful year. I know it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wolk. All right, and Ms. Lyons is here tonight to talk about PE. So Ms. Lyons, whoops, my apologies, went too far.
That's okay. Hello, parents. Miss Wolk is an amazing teacher. Thank you, Miss Wolk. My daughter had her last year and loved her. Anyway, I have one child who's at Cunha, and I plan to also send my son who's in 4th grade right now, and he'll be going to Cunha as well. So I teach physical education along with the other PE teachers who teach at Cunha, who are Mr. Aguilar, Miss Longacre, and Mr. Mobley. So those will be the teachers for next year. Curriculum at Cunha, students are going to learn PE using a variety of physical education formats, including some of the following. So some of the individual and dual activities we will be including are calisthenics or warm-up exercises, running, badminton, pickleball, yoga, jumping rope, juggling, bocce ball, dance, and other activities as time and space allows. For team sports, we're going to be including volleyball, basketball, ultimate frisbee. I forgot to include soccer. Soccer is super important and very popular, so we will be including soccer, softball, floor hockey, lacrosse, team handball, and others as time and space allow. Not all teachers include all of these units during the year, but we try to include as many as we can. And we rotate spaces. So that's part of how we do it. A typical day in PE includes starting with dynamic stretches for the warm-up. Students will typically run a lap around the track, which is 1/3 of a mile. They will also participate in the main activity. That's the majority of the class time is devoted to whatever the main activity is. So that would be, for example, the basketball unit or an ultimate frisbee unit. And then finally at the end, we would have our closing or debrief with the teacher, and then a cool down at the end of the period. The locker room will depend on how things are going with COVID for next year. We might just have students put backpacks on the side and participate with their regular clothes. So make sure that they're dressed to participate in PE. But if, you know, time allows, if the safety allows, then we might be in the locker room. And yes, we're looking forward to seeing your students next year, and I'm hoping for an awesome year. So thank you for coming.
All right, thanks, Ms. Lyons. And next, I think we want to have Mr. Millhouse up here to talk about science at Cunha.
Awesome, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Mr. Millhouse. You probably saw me in the video a little bit earlier. I'm one of the science teachers at Cunha. I'll quickly go into kind of what each grade we teach. So in 6th grade, your students will mostly learn about earth sciences. So about how our earth geology is made up. We go into plate tectonics, we go into the atmosphere, we look a little bit at space, and then we kind of end with climate change. So that's kind of their scope for the first year. And then in 7th grade, it's more life sciences or biology. In 8th grade are the physical sciences. So physics and chemistry is sort of how it's split up. Things to expect in science is we're going to explore natural phenomenon. So all of our curriculum is based in looking at things on Earth and trying to understand those. And that's mostly done through hands-on labs. Students will do multiple labs a week here at Cunha, and that's going to be a lot of our curriculum. And then I also want to just kind of mention that we do have an outdoor ed week where students are able to go off campus and spend a week in 6th grade learning in a beautiful site outside of Pescadero in the hills there. I highly recommend having your child participate in that if you are able. And Mr. Ripberger will discuss that more in detail next year. So there's options for everybody to make it to that. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out, and we're looking forward to having students being able to do a lot more science than this year, where it's a lot online. Science of a very, very physical hands-on class. So we're looking forward to getting back into that type of teaching and that type of learning.
All right, thank you, Mr. Millhouse. And our last teacher presenter of the night is Mr. Cox, who is our social studies department chair and also our leadership teacher. Take it away, Mr. Cox.
Hey, hello. I think you saw me too on some videos, and I'm hoping I can get off real quick so Mr. Barnes can continue that fabulous video. As far as I do 8th grade mainly is U.S. history and the leadership. And as I kind of quickly say about the leadership, when your children get to 8th grade, what I try to get the students to do is they give up basically a semester of their enjoyment, and they put enjoyment in the students' hands. So when you're watching that video, the students run all activities, create all activities, and do everything. And they're pretty much doing activities Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It is a constant activity-based school. So hopefully your kids will get involved. As far as 6th grade, I am the department head, and I have 2 incredibly trained social emotional teachers for development in 6th grade. Now, they will do history, and they will start with early man and go through basically ancient Greece. And during that time, they do a tomb project, they do a great city-state Olympic competition. There's all sorts of things that go on in the 6th grade history. But I'd like to focus on what they do for the first 9 weeks. In 6th grade, your child will start the year with a program called Skills for Adolescents, which is a social emotional skill developing class. It is a class with no grade for the first 9 weeks. In the social studies department, we have trained our teachers to teach this program. We think it's so important that we give 9 weeks of the curriculum for the students to develop their middle school skills to be ready for what's going to come in the next 3 years. They will work on self-esteem. They do a project called Something for Nothing, where they learn about how they feel better about themselves by doing activities and helping others. We work on emotions. They learn how to handle emotions when they're angry, what to do, different ways to solve it. Pair relationships, they learn about how friends take over. And at middle school, all of a sudden, it becomes such a big deal with friends, how to pick friends, how to navigate through friendship. Family, because obviously middle school families change the relationship. So they work on how to deal with families and how to handle situations. They do goal setting. They do healthy living. It's a whole different program that we use the first 9 weeks. The kids also no grade. They love, they get to see a lot of Wonder Years at once in a while and see what it's like to get ready for the first dance. And you'd be amazed that Wonder Years hasn't really changed. The middle school is still going through the same trauma that they did 40, 50 years ago. So that's what I want to focus is the beginning, the first 9 weeks with our social emotional called Skills for Adolescents. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tom. I think at this point, I am going to, back to the beginning. Okay. Let me stop this because it seems to be playing. All right. I think at this point we want to have our question and answers. So I'm going to check out the chat now and see if there's questions we can answer from people in a live fashion. I know that Mr. Bartell has been working away and maybe Mr. Connor Brown as well. So let me take a look at the chat and we'll see what we can answer. And stay as long as you like. When people are more or less finished with the chat, I'll go ahead and play the rest of that video and stay as long as you want to watch it, okay? So let's see what we got going on here.
Mr. Barnes, we have one open question. Looks like a parent is asking if a student is on the wheel, can they choose to only do art and bike mechanics, or do they have to do all of them?
Once you're on the wheel, let's see what we've got for 6th grade. We have bike mechanics, we have art, we have study skills
and drama.
Drama. But I think if you're on the wheel, you do end up going through all 4 of those.
Yes.
You'd be repeating the same thing if you didn't.
Yeah, so in 6th grade, students do rotate through all of the classes. It depends on how it goes for 7th grade, but the idea is by 8th grade that they will be, their electives will be a semester long. So they will have the opportunity to just select one of those courses or an elective opportunity and have a little bit more time to develop and dive into deeper, bigger projects within those electives as they go through middle school. And then with that, can I just make one more comment on the forms that are due? They are due Wednesday, February 24th. So I just wanted to make sure and to re-emphasize that the Google Forms, the 6th grade elective forms are due Wednesday, February 24th.
And I'm posting an instruction sheet as well as the links on our Cunha website right now as we speak. So if you go to the Cunha website, click on counseling and then counseling news, you'll see that in just a few minutes.
All right, Mr. Barnes, looks like we have another question here about a school bus service from Montera. Is there a school bus from Montera?
I believe the district had an arrangement where parents were able to fund a school bus. I don't know if that is surviving the budget crunch that we had and the pandemic. So I think we'll have to see if that service is something that can be put together again. Most students end up taking the Samtrans bus. You know, one of the things, hearing what everybody was talking about, my son went through the full Cabrillo program. He went to El Granada and then to Cunha and the high school. And it was such a big thing when he went to 6th grade and was going to take the bus. And so we practiced taking the bus together. And I got him his first little flip phone so he could call me if there was any emergency. And I remember that first day of school, you know, him walking off into the fog to go get the bus by himself, you know, because he was very big, and went off to Cunha, where he took band, learned saxophone from his PS, and went on to be the drum major at the high school, and is now plays sax with the Oregon State Marching Band, and is doing great. So the education he had here at Cunha was fantastic, and it really helped him blossom as a student. So I just wanted to give my little personal endorsement as well of the school that I'm the principal of. So yeah, I think the bus thing is something we're gonna have to work out. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but most of the kids who take the bus do take Samtrans. I see a question here about a description of what the back to school plan entails. So I'll be glad. So Mr. Bartel, you gonna answer that one?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I speak for everyone here when I say that, we want to get back to school as soon as it's absolutely, safe to do so. As part of our opening of schools committee, we've come up with lots of different bell schedules, lots of different safety precautions that we're going to be doing and presenting to the school board here actually tomorrow evening. So as soon as it's absolutely safe to do so, we're going to do so. Yeah, I'm definitely very, very excited. And I think I speak for, like I said, everyone here, very, very excited to get kids back on campus absolutely as soon as we can.
And, one of the things we'll be presenting is a type of, or our phase 3 back to school plan where kids will come to school 2 days a week and be home. It's not as satisfactory as being here 5 days a week, but I think any kid I've talked to, most families want their kids to be back, even if it's on a limited fashion. And so we're ready to do that. Cunha's prepared for that as soon as we get the word that it's okay for us to do so. And if we can make it back this year, that is absolutely what I want to do. Now, there's a question about the fall. Yes, I mean, I think that there's absolutely no way we would not be, whatever happens the remainder of this school year, we will be back in person in the fall. It's possible that the pandemic will still be giving us difficulties and maybe we'll have to open in a hybrid fashion. But either way, we are absolutely coming back to school in the fall. And if I have my way and if all goes well and we kick COVID to the curb, we'll be back, for the last quarter at the very least. But I can't promise that because if there's anything we have learned from this year, is it's a year full of surprises and nobody can predict anything that'll happen.
Yeah.
Any other questions any folks want to ask? Now's a good time because we are here. Got all these people here are happy to answer your questions about life at Cunha.
Just a heads up for everyone. In the chat, there is a link to the Cunha PTO opening response email account. So if you have any questions, concerns regarding, I know Lisa, you put that in there, regarding school reopening, feel free to reach out to that Gmail account.
Ooh, will fifth graders be able to tour the campus in person over the summer? That's a good question. There'll be some staff here this summer, but there's usually not a lot of people to do a big organized tour. But if it's safe to do so, I'm happy if somebody wants to contact me, I'll be happy to show them around, even if we can't organize something big. If we're able to, since fifth graders did not get a chance, like normally this time of year, we would have had our fifth grade carnival and the kids would have all been bussed over from the elementaries to walk around and get that tour. So it may be that what we'll be doing at the very beginning of the school year, as the teachers all come back at the beginning of August, that maybe will be our fifth grade orientation will be something that involves a tour and gives everybody a chance to see it. So we haven't planned that out yet, but I think we're going to be spending a lot of time reorienting students to school. And for our fifth graders that have missed out on some of these activities that they would have had this year coming to see Cunha, we'll do what we can to make that up for sure. Okay, easy question. Yes, once the recording, I'll have it turned into a YouTube and publish it on our website. And kids are anticipated to be in each sixth grade class. Our max by contract is 35. I think it's going to be usually lower than that. 29, 30 would be what we wouldn't like to have too many more if we can. Ooh, dance classes. I wish we had a dance class. That'd be cool. I don't think we offer anything like that just now, but we could potentially see about clubs. And if somebody wanted to run a dance elective, I'd be all for it. They're teachers. So just,
I think Mrs. Wolk will sign
Ms. Wolk, I was just going to say, which would be awesome. We often change our electives depending on the interests and abilities of the teachers, what they want to do. So those change over the years. So wide open to the possibility of a dance class should we be able to get that together. Okay, so a couple of things. Maybe Ms. Lyons can answer the question about changing in the locker room for PE.
Sure. So as of, I think what we're talking about is when we go back, I believe that we're planning to start out with, I mean, it depends on where COVID's at, but putting backpacks on the side and using all of the time to participate with physical education, not going into the locker room. That's probably the safest thing to do at the moment, but we really don't know what the guidelines will be at that point. So we'll be listening to how the whole district, just advises us with regard to going in the locker rooms. The students are very close together in the locker rooms. And so we just have to be very careful about how we proceed in that. So we'll be taking our instruction from Mr. Barnes, Mr. Bartel, and the district office, and they'll probably have, hopefully we'll have an approach that both the high school and the middle school will be using.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the possibility of just not, like maybe if we come back this year, at least for a period of time, not changing at all. Ask families to send kids in, in comfortable clothes and shoes they can run around in, so that when they go to PE, they can, participate in the activities, and we don't have to do that in the close quarters of the locker room. But we'll take it as it comes and see what the best thing is, as Ms. Lyons said. There's a question on bullying. This is something we are really, really sensitive about. We know that this occurs. It happens in person. It happens online. Many kids coming from elementary school are getting social media accounts as they get phones. And that is where an awful lot of words happen in various apps. And then that leads to problems on campus. And so whenever we are made aware of it, we take it very, very seriously. We pull kids in, we discuss it with them, we get to the bottom of it, we get any witnesses of it, and there are consequences, both disciplinary and, more importantly, it's an opportunity for students to learn and grow. So we have meetings with students, sometimes with counselors, and sometimes eventually together to work out these issues so that they can learn to treat each other with respect. So, but we take it very seriously and we stop it immediately. So our policy is quite firm on that. So anytime we're made aware of it, plus we have funding that mostly we haven't used this year because we're not in person, to present to classes and have workshops and bring bullying education to our students. And so I'm looking forward to doing that and running restorative justice circles, which is one of our approaches to dealing with the conflict as well. So immediate action, serious consequences, opportunities to learn and communicate with each other and find a better way. So yeah, that's something that's important to us.
Yeah, just to echo that, Mr. Barnes, I think it's a double-edged sword like you're talking about. It's are there immediate consequences? Absolutely. But many times we can give immediate consequences and it doesn't fix the root of the problem. So I think going into some restorative practices and hearing where each student is coming from and really building a relationship between those students, we found to be very, very effective. So, but thank you, good question.
Any other questions? All right. Well, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to play Mr. Cox's video. Who we got one? The 6 period day question. It is under consideration, but given the timeline that we would have to do a change like that, and that's a complicated thing, and the explanations for it are many, and the consequences of doing it are many, but I don't think it's something that's going to happen for next year, just given the timeline that we have. But it's something we consider because we have very short periods, 43 minutes, and our math and our science, social studies, other core classes don't have as much time as they need. So we're trying to figure out how we could equitably change our schedule to give more time to those classes. That does have an impact on English language arts, which has English language arts and reading, and we have to figure out the best way to deal with that. So it's something under consideration for those of you who are in immersion. Of course, that would have consequences there. But we're thinking our way through that, and we may have some good solutions to that as well that I think people will like. But just saying that, we're going to spend, we have a Bell Schedule Committee that's been working through all this stuff. Mr. Cox is on it. Ms. Angst is on it, I believe, and Ms. PS. And we've been working to see that we can make these changes happen, but our schedule for that is probably October to really begin getting into that with our staff. If we were to make a Bell schedule change, it would have to be done by March 1st. That's like 3 weeks away. We don't have the time to discuss it with our staff or families. We weren't able to get it into this year because of the pandemic and the big changes that we had to deal with at the beginning of this year. So I think we may make some minor changes that don't change the 7-period day for next year, but discussion of a 6-period day will likely take place in the fall, and will involve everybody, all the stakeholders in our community as we do that. Okay. Couple other questions. I think one of them is being answered by Mr. Bartel. Yeah, I mean the tour video. It was published before I didn't ask Mr. Olson to put it in Spanish subtitles, which he normally does with our principal videos, but he'd made it, so I wasn't able to go back and do that this time around. Hopefully the translation worked okay. But we really do have a commitment to trying to make everything we possibly can available to Spanish speakers. And I know it's not ideal doing it this way with these kinds of translation going through the webinar. But if we held this event again in Spanish, it would pretty much be about the same. Everybody would be speaking in English and being translated. So for this event, I think we thought one shot at it would be the best. We've had a number of events in English and in Spanish this year, separate events, so we could really get into questions and answers from our Spanish-speaking community, because that's really important to us, because that's a huge part of our community. English language learners are a huge part of our community. Our majority population is Latino. These are our kids, and we have to reach out to them. And so we're going to keep on working to try and do that. And I know, Lizette, you and I have had conversations, our board member, Lizette Cortez, and I'm hoping to work with her so we can design the best possible events that reach out to our Spanish-speaking community as we can. Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, I think or somebody's asking about if they've got ELD and but they still want to take wheel. They should submit a wheel class form. I think Ben is answering that, but absolutely put everything that you want, and we'll see what we can get for you. Plus, there's also the possibility of the 0 period as well, if you're willing to do the 7:39 start.
If anyone knows that they are taking ELD and is not interested in doing a 0 period, please just mark that on the 0 period question, and that way we won't fill your student's schedule with that. It does help us to know, and there's always a possibility of reclassification. So we want to know as much information as possible, even if we don't actually fill the elective period this year.
Okay, there's a question about woodshop. Our woodshop is available in 7th and 8th grade, so they'll be able to take those in the next year. And there's a question about not being able to hear anything. I don't know. I think most everybody's been able to hear everything, so I don't know what could what could be the issue there. Hopefully everybody was able to hear the videos and hear us speaking and the translation if needed. And if there has been any problems with that, please let me know. Okay. Any more questions? Oh, here we go. When is home ec? That's also 7th and 8th grade. The computer, that's a good question, what we're going to do with Chromebooks, because right now all our students have them, and of course the elementary students. I think the elementary students will give back their Chromebooks because they'll belong to the school and they'll be reissued. I think we'll be doing the same because they'll want to pull them back in, service them, and reissue them to students. And whether we'll be, if we're in some kind of hybrid mode, even in the fall, we may leave, send students home with the Chromebooks. If we go back to school in a regular fashion, we may not, if we're in school every day, we may not send Chromebooks home again. We just keep them at school like we've traditionally done. But those are things we'll have to figure out as we go along. But I think you'll give back your 5th grade Chromebooks, and if we reissue them, they'll be done in the fall by us.
Can I just answer a couple 6th grade elective questions? There's been a couple questions about specific 6th grade elective courses. They do change every year, but it's based off of what this, our staffing, what the availability is. So it does change slightly. We do have a core and we try to keep that core, which drama and art have been part of for a long time. And even bike mechanics, I think this is the 2nd or 3rd year. So it does change. There's no guarantee what's going to be offered next year. However, in 6th grade, no matter what is offered, every student will have the opportunity to take each of the elective courses. So in the past, sometimes we've had 5, in the past we've had 4. So whatever is being offered, your student will be rotating through each elective option. So this year, unfortunately, we don't have shop or computers, but we've had them in the past, and that doesn't mean they won't be available next year. But at this point, we don't have that set. So it's based off of staffing, interest, and number of students. So that will be determined a little bit later in the year, but your student will have the opportunity to participate in each of the 6th grade elective offerings.
I said, thank you, Stacy, but I was muted. So we're almost about 7:30. I don't want to leave anybody without their questions answered. So please put any up there. Otherwise, I'm gonna play the video out and feel free to leave whenever it's easy for you to do so.
Thank you for coming, everyone. Appreciate it.
All right, and thank you guys, people who are putting comments in. Thank you for being here tonight. We're looking forward to seeing your student. Everybody take care, and I'll play the video.
Here with 6th grader Frankie, and I have a question. What are you most looking forward to this school year?
I'd say the dances.
I'd have to say the dances.
Great America.
Honor roll. Promotion.
I'm looking forward to most winning Cunha the basketball season. Summer basketball.
The DC trip.
8th grade promotion or the science fair.
The dances. Outdoor ed.
Probably the dances too.